Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, March 10th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we will get started shortly. So there's a couple things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, solid. So just a reminder, guys, today is NFP. Obviously, most you guys should know that by now because the market kind of spiked around a bit. This is like one of the riskiest trading days of the month. So hopefully none of you guys got caught in it, or if you guys did take trades during that time, you guys got some profit off it. Some of the people in the group did make profit off it. Looking over here at Kip, he's up 843. We have C6 account 12,460. We have Zach's account over here, total profit of 2,405. So we got a couple of people over here who locked in some decent profit. Pre-market and during NFP. So I'm hoping if you guys did take trades around that time, you guys did make profit. It was a bit risky. It's why I never trade during that time, but there are people here in the group who did. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here at the premium. And then we will get started shortly. Got the link sent out right there. Perfect. There you go. All right, I'll give a few moments for people to make their way in. Oh man, you guys can hear me this whole time. All right, guys, could you guys hear me now? Oh man, so you guys missed my whole analysis from this morning. I literally just saw you guys messaging. It's all good. Anyway, so I'll just say again what I just said. Anyways, guys, so looking over here at the higher time frames. So let's just start over from the beginning. So I marked up news price already. We don't have to look at that stuff. I just want to remind you guys that it was NFP this morning. So obviously the big push right here, I had news price marked up. That was NFP. Now, looking over here on the higher time frames, you can see that price is pretty much bearish across the time frame. So like looking over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, these lower time frames were not bearish prior because of the news price pushing price up. Now it's bearish because price is now below the pivots. Trend meter is angling down. I mean, trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. Looking over here on the higher time frames, it does make a difference because this was bearish pretty much all week. So it's been bearish all week on the higher time frames. The lower time frames here are just following lower time frame. So I personally wouldn't recommend entering any trades right now. Specifically, I'd wait for price to kind of bounce around a bit. Looking over here, price was actually, well, you guys didn't hear what I said, but this thing played out exactly what I mentioned. I mentioned that on open over here at 630, price is going to fake out to the upside and then come right back down because price is supposed to be negative right now. So other than that, looks like we'll be looking for sells today. Yeah, I literally just saw your guys' messages right now that said I was on mute, but it's all good. Market's now open, so we'll analyze it as price continues to move along. But my analysis here pre-market or on open kind of played out like I mentioned. The reason why I thought of this a push up was because price is supposed to be bearish, but this was obviously supposed to come down. It pushed up right here on news. And I was just analyzing the news over here. So what I was saying earlier, guys, was that all the news here was negative. So average hourly earnings was negative. NFP change was, this is technically negative. The number here is smaller than it was last month. So it went from 405,000 to 311,000. They're forecasting it to be 224,000, but it was a bit higher. So it's green here, but realistically, it's not good news. Also, unemployment rate is higher. So definitely not a good thing, but we'll see where, price ends up going. So I just saw your guys's your messages over here. Yeah, Alan, it looks like I'm not muted anymore. So it might be your computer might be on mute. Or you might have your volume down. All right, guys. So just looking over here, we're obviously looking for a sell, in the long term, but we need to make sure that everything pushes in that direction as we continue to follow price. So we go over here and mark up opening price, which is going to be there. I was wondering why people were leaving and rejoining the room in the Zoom because I noticed like there was like a bunch of people here and then people left. I think a lot of people thought there was something wrong with their mics, but it's all good. All right, guys. So market is now moving back and forth. You kind of want to be a little patient waiting for these entries here. So the first entry that we would be looking for here would be a momentum scalp. So looking over here on the 1 minute, let me go ahead and put these strategies up, the main strategies that we're applying. You guys can use other strategies as a confluence like I typically do. Typically the variation V1s, variation V2, variation V3. Those could be used as confluences, but for our entries here, we're mainly looking for momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp failure, and momentum scalp. All right. So looking at this over here, let me just go and I'll turn on the gold bars so it's easier for you guys to see as well. All right, so I got the gold bars back on right there. So this is basically indicating that there is a sell signal on the other time frames as well. So there's a sell signal on the 5, sell signal on the 10. The sell signal on the 1 would indicate an entry for a momentum scalp entry. I don't see any other confluences here, and price is also at a red flag. It's at news price. So not exactly the entry that I'm looking to take here. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on this one specifically. because of the obvious red flag. So typically I don't take any trades when price is touching these horizontal lines. If you guys are not familiar with red flags are right here. So I typically don't take any trades if price is touching any of these horizontal lines. The only time I will pretty much ignore the red flags is if we have a stronger confluence. So say, for example, I have a double top or a double body or something like that up here, indicating that price is going to reverse back down. Then in that situation, I would possibly take an entry even though it's touching these red flags. But most of the time, I don't take trades when price is touching the red flags because I typically tend to lose around this area. And you guys can see how price gets manipulated around these horizontal lines, right? Price drops down. And when it gets near any of these horizontal lines, look where price goes. It just goes up and down. It's a big up and down movement and not necessarily a safe entry because you can be entering a trade and price can spike back up or it spike down further. And there's really no confluence there or a confirmation giving you confidence that price is going to push in that direction because price can just fake out and swing right back up, right? So typically I'd be really careful about taking any trades around, these specific areas here. So this right here would be an invalid signal, but it still would be kind of, considered a momentum scalp, even though it's invalid because there is a sell signal across the time frames. All right, so I'm going to look around first real quick, guys, and I'm going to see if there's any confluences here to confirm that price will likely come back down. So looking over here on the 30-minute, you can see we have a double body right there. That's a reversal pattern. So I do expect price to come down possibly with regard to that analysis there. We also have a double body right here on the 1 hour. So if these candles close with a red candle, so this one already closed at 30 minutes. So this one's fine. This one confirms that it is a reversal pattern to the downside. This 1 hour has 22 minutes left on it. If this closes with a double body right there, that's another confirmation of a possible swing to the downside. Lastly, over here on the 2 hour, if this here closes with a red candle, this will also provide a double body and likely confirm that price is going to swing back down further. We also have some double bodies over here on the 5 and on the 10. But you guys got to keep in mind that these candles over here were based off news price, right? Because news price happened right here at 5:30. This just pushed up due to news, and then it ended up coming down super hard. So with that said, we have a lot of double bodies right here on pretty much all the time frames except the 1 minute. So the 1 minute will be our catalyst. I think there's one that's possibly pending right here now. It's not a double body, but it's close to it. But yeah, just looking at this over here, I probably do expect price to come back down at some point. So looking at these, the confluence here, so I'm pretty much looking at the 1 hour, 30-minute, like all the higher time frames. Everything here has a reversal pattern on the top side. So with that said, I do think price will come down. It might not be an instant drop to the downside, but I do expect it to come down at some point. It's just going to be a matter of time until it actually, comes down. So we got a sell signal right here. This looks like it could be a momentum scalp entry. Candle's kind of big though. Yeah, these candles right here are iffy. So you guys can see how these candles here, they keep appearing and disappearing, right? So this right here would technically be a momentum scalp, but you can see that it doesn't really hold. It kind of drops down a little bit, then it pulls up a little bit, disappears, comes back down, and it just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. So this right here would be a momentum scalp entry. If you guys want to take it, you guys can take it, but I do think it'll be a little risky of a take because of how price is moving right now currently. Let's see. So I took it for a partial move, guys. This is technically supposed to be a 25-50 move. I took it for a 100 pip move. The reason why I took this here for a sell, I mean, I already hit TP. I got some slippage. I only locked in 960 on my account. So let me give you an explanation about like why I took it. So a lot of you guys here did take it as well. So I was mentioning that I typically don't take trades on prices around the red flags, right? But the reason why I took this here, and I mentioned that I avoid red flags if we can find a confluence indicating that price is likely to come down further. This right here should have been a 25-50 move because it's such a big retracement if price does retrace up. But I saw the momentum coming down and I knew this here was going to actually close. That was what I was kind of worried about, if this here was going to close. But the reason why I was okay with taking that is because I just showed you guys here on the higher time frames, right? We have a double body, double body, double body, double body, double body. There's double body on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 time frames, right? We were only looking for one here on the 1 minute, but it just didn't come up yet. However, you have this confluence here indicating that there's a reversal to the downside. So that's why when I saw that sell signal there, I just hopped in for a quick profit. You can see here, if you did it 25.50, it probably would have hit your TP by now. Yeah, it would have. So that would be the proper TP stop loss for this one right here. There was just a lot of confluences. So like for this right here, for one, it was a momentum scalp. And for two, this was a triple confluence, right? Because price is below the pivots. We had a sell signal here. It was breaking, closing past the low. So when I saw that right there, it pretty much lined up. There's so many confluences here. So a lot of the older members here would be able to identify this. Price broken, closed past heavy structure. And there was also liquidity right there. There's two zones right there that haven't been broken yet. So everything here just lined up. I probably could have held it for longer, but it's all good. I took it for a quick 100 pips. Not necessarily one of the it's one of the more riskier trades, but it did play out because, you know, we had so many confluences. That's why it's important that you guys understand all the strategies. You don't have to, but, you know, at some point, obviously you want to expand your knowledge to understand my other strategies, because these other strategies will help you guys really pick up these movements. So I'll just put this here so that you guys know which trade I took. Yeah, so you can see over here, this is kind of similar to the trades that came up on Monday. So there was a momentum scalp plus a triple confluence on that one move right there. So now we're just looking for another entry. We had that reversal pattern. You guys can see how that confluence plays out very well, right? So right before that entry came up, I already went to all these time frames and I mentioned double body, double body, double body, etc. across all these time frames. This indicates that price is going to come down. If this 1 hour here closes and this 2 hour closes, I think price will continue dropping even further. So that's even bigger confluence for price to continue dropping lower and lower from where it's currently at. So yeah, those are my profits so far. We'll be looking for now a momentum scalp failure. So in order for us to get a momentum scalp failure, we need to get a buy signal over here. So confirm overall trend. We currently have a downtrend, bearish downtrend. Number two, confirm retracement momentum signal. That's what we're looking for over here. We need to get a sell signal, or sorry, a buy signal to come up right here to provide the retracement. Once we have that, if volume is below average, this will be an entry for a momentum scalp failure. So it looks like, let me see, I'll just pull up the profits over here. So I'll look at everyone's profits first. So Kenny over here locked in a total profit of 2,820 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. We have Christian over here. Christian locked in a total profit of 591. He took that same sell that we just identified right now, the momentum scalp. We have Patrick over here, took that sell as well, total profit of 640. And guys, if you guys are new here and you guys aren't really following as closely as everyone else, don't worry. Like this, if this is like one of your earlier sessions, you'll start to pick up on my lingo over time. So what I typically look for is I look for one of these entries here. If it's risky, I'll look back on the other time frames to identify if there's any confluences. If there's confluences here indicating that price is going to come down, even though it reaches, even though it's a risky trade, I'll probably still take it for maybe a partial move, if not the full move, if the market persists. Looking over here, let's see, Natasha locking a total profit of 177 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. All full TP right there. Natasha said she doesn't know why her screen is black. You probably changed the settings on your app, Natasha, to like night mode. That's probably why it's black. You can change it in the settings back to light mode. You're in dark mode right now, I believe. You can change it to light mode if you want in the settings. We got Barack over here, total profit of 2,328 for the day. Nice work, Barack. Full wins across all your trades. And then we have Sisuk over here. We have Maddie, total profit of 1,110, all wins. Nice work, Maddie. We have CSUK over here, 700 on this account. Nice work, CSUK. CSUK's other account, 600. And then CSUK's third account, 15,060 for the day. Nice work, CSUK. All right, solid work, guys. Vincent over here, total profit of 71.61. Hey, Yusuf, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, if you're new here, Yusuf, after this live session, or if you have any free time, I recommend going on our website, kodikaitrades.com. Again, it's kodikaitrades.com. Click on unlock your free access right here so that you guys can watch all the videos of all of our strategies. All of our strategies are available for free to watch. So that when you sit in on these live sessions, you can understand what we're doing and you can follow along and take these trades as they come along. So you can see a lot of people here profited taking different strategies. Vincent over here took that momentum scalp right here. You can see his markup. He locked in a full TP of 71.61. Maddie over here, 1,110. Kenny, 2,080. And that's it for right now. Thanks, guys, for the heads up about my mute. And then we have Patricia over here with a total profit of 2,045 for the day, all wins. So great work right here, Patricia. Lots of sells taken right there on open. And then we got Dijon over here. He took that sell that we just took, total profit of 590 for the day. Great work, Dijon. And lastly, we have Shannon over here with a total profit of 109. Great work, Shannon. Yeah, Shannon said her 100 goal was met for the day. She can keep this up. It'll put her other 4 accounts on copier. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, you just gotta wait for that proof of concept. Once you identify your consistency, then go ahead and add the other accounts. All right, guys, so we're looking for a buy signal here. The next entry for us to take would be a momentum scalp failure. In order for us to get that, we need to get a buy signal over here. As we wait for that to happen, I'm going to go and take a screenshot of my own profit so that you guys can see what I locked in. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't get a green strip on mine. Slippage, I guess. All right, price is still dropping pretty heavy from where it's currently at. But there's no entries for us. So I don't recommend anybody taking trades right now unless you guys are following any of the other strategies. So there's actually a high-low scalp that's coming down right here. I'm not taking it, but I'll mark it up for you guys. I know some of you guys are still taking my other strategies. A couple of my older, actually price touched it, so it invalidated the high-low scalp. So this right here would not be a high-low scalp because this candle here touched it already. So you can't have the candles touching them. They got to be pure movements. Pure meaning they haven't been touched before. So like, basically a virgin candle for the most part. Let's see. Dijon said I wanted to come back up so I can get another SR rejection. Yeah, no. So Dijon's applying another strategy here called the SR rejection scalp. As I mentioned, guys, if you guys are new here, just sign up to our free intro course right here. Just unlock your free access to Kodi Kai Trades now. When you click on this right here, it'll take you to the free intro course. And the free intro course will have all of the strategies available for you to view. And then once you have that, you can start to really understand what we're talking about here on the live session. Because I have like over 30 strategies. If you guys have been part of the community for a while, every year I come up with little variations to the strategies that we already apply that make our strategies better. For this year, I'm looking to focus on just these 3 strategies right here, but we're going to use the other strategies as a confluence. So we're mainly applying just these here. But if we see a confluence indicating that price is going to keep coming in our direction, then we'll take a trade in that direction, of course. So I'm just going to post my profit so far. All right. All right, so we got a pending buy signal right here. This will technically be a momentum scalp failure. Let me see the other time frames over here to see if there's anything here that I'm looking at that can pretty much indicate that price is likely to drop. Yeah, I don't really see too many confluences here because the thing is, once you use a confluence, you don't want to reuse it a second time. We already use this confluence here on the 30-minute. We use this confluence here on the 1 hour. The only other confluence would be this here on the 2 hour. If this here closes, this will give us a double body on the top rejection. That'll confirm a reversal back to the downside. So we don't really have many confluences right here. We kind of want price to retrace up a little bit before we look for entries because at the moment, it's not really looking like price is done retracing. Price is actually going sideways right now. Turn off the magnet. Price is pretty much going sideways right now and retracing. So we actually want this to retrace up a bit so that when it comes back down, we'll have some space for entry. So again, right here, guys, there's a possible momentum scalp failure coming up. I'm not going to take this trade here because we don't have any confluences indicating that price is going to come back down just yet. So I'm going to hold off on this specifically, but we'll keep watching it and I'll see if there's any other entries that we can take here. Looks like it's going to touch the news price. So that's already a red flag. Again, as I mentioned, guys, I typically don't take trades around red flags, only if you have a confluence pointing towards the downside. So there's no confluence there. So I'm not looking to take any trades at this moment. Here are my profits so far off that one trade. So this sell right here that we took, here are my profits on my FTMO 400K account. So this is my 400K funded, total profit of 960. Here's my MFF number one. This is a 200K account, total profit of 890, some slippage there, of course. My other account over here, 880. And then my third MFF, 890. So profits are decent. They're not crazy good, but I mean, they're decent so far. I did get some slippage there. So I didn't get the full 1,000, but it's all good. So go ahead and just post this up over here so that you guys can be aware of that entry that we took earlier. I know sometimes you guys like to go back and just review my trades. So that's why I posted the chart here so that you guys can see what trade was taken. So if you guys want to see which trades I'm applying, you guys can see that I'm typically only applying these three strategies. I'm applying the momentum, or typically just these two right here. I don't really apply this one too much because this one's a bit riskier. It's a counter trend trade. This one over here is continuation. So I usually take these two right here, momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp. All right, so looking at where price is currently at right now, price is now above the pivots. This is no longer going to confirm an overall trend to the downside, right? So the first step over here for pretty much every strategy is to confirm the overall trend on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute time frames. Looking over here on the 1, 5, and 10, you can see that price is now above the pivots and the trend meter is green. So it's no longer an overall downwards trend. So we're not looking for any sells right now. We're also not looking for any buys because there's no confirmation that price is pushing either to the upside or to the downside yet. So looking at this right here, there's no entries for us to take, right? In order for us to have any entries, we need to confirm an overall trend. So as you can see, price is in between the pivots here on the 5 and 10. The trend meter is green on pretty much these two time frames. And then on the 1 minute over here, price is still bearish. So price is above the pivots, but the trend meter is red and the pivots have not shifted yet. So with that said, we have to wait for price to confirm. Until we get a confirmation, there's no entries for us to take here. So just be patient, guys. Today's one of the riskier days to trade, with it being NFP. So this was expected. We did expect price to kind of spike around like this and kind of be funky. There's no surprise here. So you can see right here, our price kind of came up a little bit for a fake out on open. Then it dropped down super heavily. Then it came back up for a fake out again. And then right here, basically a double top. Right, we basically have a double top happening right here. Where price will likely come back down. But we don't want to make assumptions here, right? So you guys can pretty much predict where price is going to go, but you don't want to trade off assumptions. You want to trade if you have a specific strategy that you're applying. I know right here there's a double top and people are probably taking or identifying this to take a sell, but I wouldn't necessarily just hop into a sell just there. You want to make sure that you have other confluences indicating that price is going to come down. None of these fit my strategies that I'm going to be applying today, so there's no entries for me to take here specifically. Looking over here on the 1 minute, we have the double body. So this right here being the double body, this is a reversal pattern, right? If this 5-minute candle over here closes with a red candle, no, I was going to see if this here was going to be a double body, but it's not leveled. So we don't have that double body there just yet. Dejan said, damn, we're never going to get a buy signal. I know, right? It's crazy because price pushed up super heavily right here, but we never got that buy signal. We do have the double top over here though, or not double top, but double body. So this is a reversal pattern right there. Yeah, exactly. So Kip said 1 minute V3. Yeah, so if this here closes with a red candle, it won't be a V1, but it'll be a V3 or yeah, either V3 or V2. So this could still qualify as a reversal pattern. We just got to make sure that this here actually drops down further. So thanks, Kip, for that heads up there. I know I haven't really looked at the V3 in a while, but there's 3 different reversal patterns that you guys can look for. There's a V1 where it's a double body or double wick, a V2 where it's a high with a green candle, and then a strong red candle, or a low with the red candle and a strong green candle. And then vice versa, a V3 is where you have an opposite like this, a high with a green candle and then a red candle right after it. Yeah, no, and I agree with you, Kip. This one right here would be a V3 on the 5, right? Is this the one you're looking for? Or are you looking at the 1 minute? Oh, you're looking at the 1 minute, okay. So this right here would actually be both. So it would be a V1 and a V3. Because for this one right here, it's a double body, but also it's a V3 because there's a high with the green candle and then following candle is red. So it actually comes up with both. This is both a V1 and a V3. I was looking over here on the 5 because this right here would not be a V1 because you're not on the same level, but this here would be a high with a green candle. And if the red candle follows it, this would also be a V3 right here. So if you guys are not familiar with the strategy that I'm talking about right now, these are reversal patterns that we we typically applied this a lot last year. If you guys are following me last year, I've been trading live for 5 years now, every day. So you guys will see how the strategies kind of change a little bit due to the market conditions. Last year, it was really easy to catch like reversals. So that's why I created that strategy. For this year, we're using continuation strategies, but we're mainly using the reversals as a confluence. So here's a course right here. If you guys want to learn those strategies, just scroll down to my scalp strategies. It'll say over here, K2 Trade scalp strategies. It has a high-low scalp, pivot scalp, triple confluence, variation V1, variation V2, variation V3. So again, guys, if you guys are new here, just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click unlock your free access right here. And once you do that, you'll get access to all of the strategies right here. And it's completely free. So there's no excuse, guys. Like if you guys want to learn the strategies, it's available to you. If you don't want to learn the strategies, that's completely fine. You don't need to learn them. But in order for you to really follow along with us here on the live sessions, you guys should have an idea of like what we're talking about and what strategies we're applying. The main strategies we're applying, again, are going to be the momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp failure, and momentum scalp, but we're using other strategies for a confluence. So just be aware. All right. So there's no entries for us to take here. Price never really came down. That double body over here on the 1 minute, it didn't close. So now the high here kind of pushed up a little higher. This again here is another V3 if it closes, but it looks like the 5 over here has not really confirmed anything. All right, price is kind of just pushing around right now. Let's go to the pretty much all the time frames. So looking at this over here, the 2 hour never closed. So that double body never confirmed. The 1 hour and 30 minutes still providing that reversal pattern. Looking over here, 5 minutes now producing a new high. Same with the 10. So the 5 and 10 here are producing new highs. With that said, we'll be looking for these here to provide either, another double top or, whatever we're looking for here. All right. So now that I'm looking over here at where price is currently going, me just go to the smaller time frames. So on the 5 right here, we actually have a V3 from the bottom. And looking over here on the 10-minute, we have a V3 as well, right? So the V3 right here, we have a low with the red candle. We have a following green candle right after it. So with that said, this is a reversal pattern to the upside. So price is actually shifting to the upside now, which is completely fine, right? We don't stick to just one position. If price wants to swing up, then that's completely fine, and we can start looking for buys here. So with that said, we don't have a confirmation of an upwards trend just yet, but if price does stay above, then we can possibly start looking for possible buys here. So, we move with the market. We don't just wait all day for something to happen. We pretty much, if the market starts to shift to a buy, we start looking for buys. So now that price is shifting to a buy, we have a reversal pattern down here. There's nothing here on the 1, but we do have it here on the 5 and 10. We do have a reversal pattern. So what we'll be looking for here is we would be looking for price to retrace back down. So now looking at this here for the momentum scout failure, we're looking for a sell signal. So confirm an overall trend, right? On the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10-minute time frames. Looking over here on the 1, 5, and 10, we obviously have a bullish trend right now. Currently, we don't know if this is going to hold, but we do have a bullish trend right now currently. So looking over here on the 1, we have price above the pivots. Same with the 5, price above the pivots. Same with the 10, prices above the pivots, right? Looking down at the bottom, we have a green trend meter. Trend meter was green here, but it's now blue. However, the pivots here are angling up. So with that said, we're typically using this to identify whether we're going to confirm the bullish trend or whether price is going to come back down. So we don't have anything here right now, but once we confirm the trend, we can probably start looking for an entry at some point. Kevin mentioned Janet Yellen speaking right now. Thanks, Kevin. I didn't realize she was speaking today. And she just came out of nowhere. I forgot what that cartoon character was. I don't know if it was Dejan that mentioned her or Tommy. Someone said that Janet Yellen looks like that bird from that cartoon. Let me see. It's right here. Okay, so live, it says Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen testifies on Biden's budget for fiscal year 2024. All right, so expect price to move kind of crazy right here. Price might come right back down. If you guys remembered who Yellen is, she's like the opposite of Powell. Powell typically makes price go up, and Yellen typically makes price go down. The times have kind of changed though, because Powell doesn't necessarily, he still does push price up, but not as much as he used to. You guys have probably seen the memes before. But yeah, you could probably expect price to maybe come back down because she is now speaking. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's stuff going on behind the scenes. This bullish trend here might not hold. Price might just come right back down. So there's a momentum scalp failure right here. I'm not sure if anyone took it or if anyone's looking to take it. I probably wouldn't take it myself. It looks like it's going to hit TP, but I'm not taking it myself because it's just too risky of a move right here. There's no confirmation that price is going to hold up just yet. And we don't really have a reversal pattern here either. So it did hit TP right there if you guys took the momentum scalp failure. There's a momentum scalp variation that's coming up right here, but I'm still not convinced that price has really shifted to the upside yet. So I'm not looking to take any trades here. I'll mark this up for you guys as they come up. Also, a big thing is that Yellen is speaking. See, she's usually not good for the economy because she's really big on regulation. So when she says stuff, it typically isn't good for the market. So that's why I'm not really looking to take any buys here just yet until we get a better confirmation that price is likely to continue pushing to the upside. Looking over here on the higher time frames, I don't see a reversal pattern over here either. So I'm not really looking to take any buys yet, especially not any risky buys. There's a momentum scalp variation right here as well. I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not taking these trades here. So if you guys are taking it, it looks like it's going to hit TP again, another full TP right there. There was two TPs I just hit on the 1 minute. We had a momentum scalp failure, which was this red candle right here. Volume was below average. Overall trend was bullish. If you took that there for a buy, full TP. This right here was a momentum scalp variation. If you took that for a buy right there, it would have went straight to your TP as well. I didn't take any of these trades, so neither of these trades are going to count towards the results. The only trades that count towards the results are the ones that I take myself. Oh, thanks, Eunice. So Eunice said there was no buy signal on the 5. So actually, this would not be a momentum scalp variation. Looks like there might be one right now because I see a gold bar right here, Eunice, so it might be pending. Okay, yeah, so there's no buy signal yet on the 5 and 10. So with that said, it's the only entry that would have came up here would be a momentum scalp failure. This is the only entry that could have been taken. This right here would not be a momentum scalp variation because there was no buy signal. Right here, there's a pending buy on the 5 and a pending buy on the 10. So you can see that there's a gold bar right here because there's a buy signal right here and a buy signal right here that's currently pending. It hasn't closed yet, but it is pending. So thanks, Eunice, for the heads up. But yeah, there's no entries for us to take right now. The only entries that could have been taken would be the momentum scalp failure. So we got to wait for a confirmation that price is going to continue up from here until we can start looking for entries. So we just got to sit tight for a bit, guys. There's no entries we can take at the moment until we get a buy signal that closes here on the 5 and a buy signal that closes here on the 10. Let's see, question from Jacob. Jacob's asking, Sean, do you ever use trailing stop loss, or would it be hitting too many break evens if you did? Or is the market not moving much during your momentum scalp strategy for trailing to be worth it? The market's too choppy, Jacob. I know you haven't been trading for a while, but the whole month of February, price is just going up and down. So if you're using a trailing stop loss, it would just keep hitting your break even every single time. I know you haven't been around for a while, but I know because you've been off, but the whole month of February, price was literally just going back and forth. So the entire month of February, there was no direction at all. Price would go up for like a few seconds, come right back down, come back up. So like trailing stop wouldn't work good during February. And we still haven't had that real big push just yet. Right now in March, Monday, market was moving directional. Then the second day of March, price kind of went back and forth. So there hasn't really been a directional movement yet for US30. Price just keeps going back and forth. So trailing stop losses are not really good right now. Typically they would be good. Like last year, we had a lot of big movements where you can use a trailing stop and price would just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But this year, market's a little different. Yeah, Kip said trailing stop loss doesn't work for most of our scalping strategies. Yeah, exactly. Like if you were to use a scalping, if you were to use a trailing stop, you couldn't have a TP because it would hit your TP before it starts a trail. Because we're only going for like 100 pips or 250 pips. So typically if you're going for that small move, Jacob, it goes straight to your TP. So we're hitting our TP within like seconds or within minutes. Like this is the move we're going for, 100 pips. Like literally 10 points it's like one spike in our direction and it already hits our TP. And then if you're going for the bigger move, 250, like it's like an immediate, like basically automatic win when it pushes to our TP. So yeah, if you were to use a trailing stop, you'd have no TP and you would just trail it. Trailing stops are good for like intraday strategies and swing strategies, but not necessarily for scalping. Because we're like in and out of these positions quickly. And the way that we trade is like, instead of having a trailing stop, you can let that hit your TP and then you wait for the next entry and hit your TP again. So instead of having like one big move with a trailing stop, you'll have like 2 or 3 smaller moves with multiple entries with full TPs. So it's just a different style of trading. Trailing stops are just not meant for scalping. Yeah, Jacob said, I was just wondering if there's ever a signal that could literally fly due to no TP and trail, but I guess it wouldn't be a scalp, it'd be intraday. Yeah, exactly, Jacob. It'd be an intraday type of entry because you'll be holding that for like more than a couple minutes, right? Scalps just, you're holding on to this position for like 1 or 2 minutes and typically it'll go straight to your profit target. So it's basically just dipping into the market really quickly when you're finding, inconsistencies and then getting out. So yeah, your answer to your own question was exactly right. That'd be considered a intraday entry at that point. Yeah, no problem, Jacob. Thanks for the question too, because that's a pretty good question. I know there's a lot of other traders here who are not familiar with scalping, and we do get that question from time to time. Because yeah, it might seem like a good idea to trail it, but if you're scalping, you're typically wanting to get in and out of the market very quickly. So guys, back to the bigger charts over here. So let's look over here at the higher time frames. Higher time frames are still bearish. As you can see over here on the 2-hour, price is still below the pivots. Trend meters red, pivots are angling down. Looking over here on the 1 hour, same thing. Price is below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. The 30-minute over here is starting to shift. So it's no longer bearish. It's starting to swing to the upside. The trend meter is now blue. So with that said, the shorter time frames here, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, and 30-minute time frames are starting to shift to the upside. However, the higher time frames here are still bearish. So a little bit of a conflict right there with regard to direction, but it's completely fine. We're scalping, so we don't really care what's happening long term. We care what's happening right now. It's 7:11 right now, so we have about like 49 minutes until 8. That's typically our cutoff for trading. So let's just see if we can find some sort of direction here before we can start looking for any possible entry. So looking over here on the clean chart, you guys can see that the zone here that I drew earlier, price is broken above it and has now retested. So price is right back at the retest area. One of two things will likely happen here. Price will either bounce off it and shoot right back up, or it's going to break below and correct back to the downside. Let's see. Vince is asking, would you taking the momentum scalp at 707? So that actually wasn't a momentum scalp, Vince. So let me go back to that chart and I'll show you. The reason why this here was not a momentum scalp was because there was no buy signal here on the 5 and 10. When this candle closed, there was a pending buy signal on these time frames, but they never closed, right? So you need them to actually close before it would be considered a momentum scalp. That's why I took off the gold bars here before. I put them back on right now for help, but I think I should probably take them off because this confuses people sometimes. If they see a gold bar, they think because there's a gold bar there that it would be an automatic momentum scalp. But the problem with this here is that there's no directional movement in the market. So like the reason why it was gold is because this here was a green buy signal. There was a pending green buy signal here when this candle closed, and there was a green buy signal here too. So these here didn't close. You can see there's no green buy signal. The most recent one's a sell, but there was one that was pending at the time of that candle. So this here would not be considered a momentum scalp because you need the buy signal here to actually close on the 5 and 10 so that you have a confirmation of momentum. Does that make sense, Vince? I just want to make sure because I know there's some confusion there. That's why I took off the gold bars to begin with, because the problem with the gold bars here is that since we're trading on different time frames, it'll show up sometimes, but the candles here would just the bars here on the 5 and 10 will disappear, and it makes it invalid. All right, so we got another buy signal here, guys, but unfortunately, there's still no entry that we can take here because we don't have a buy signal on the 5 and 10. We need this here to close. So you can see there's a pending buy signal right here. Right now, we need this here to close. So once this here closes, then great, we can probably start looking for some buys, but we also need a buy signal over here on the 5 minute too. So we got a pending buy signal on this, and we have a pending buy signal on this right here. If these two here close, then the next time you get a buy signal here on the 1, then you can start looking for some buys there, Vince. That's pretty much what we're waiting for. All right, so this here still has 6 minutes, got a lot of time on it. This here has about a minute left on it, so we gotta wait for these here to close. Once we get that, we can start looking for some buys. But right now, the only entries that we can possibly look for would be a momentum scalp failure. There was actually another momentum scalp failure that came up right here. Obviously not one I would take, but looks like it wouldn't have played out unless you're using a 2550, which you should have been. Yeah, the range here. So if you use a 2550 here for momentum scalp failure, it would have hit your TP. Would have got close to your stop loss, but it would have hit your TP. The reason why you use the 2550 here is because the range here is so wide. Price is moving super heavy right now. If you use a 1030, it's too close. So wouldn't have taken that for 1030 to be a 2550. All right, back to these charts here. So we're getting some nice wick rejections on the pivots here. All right, so one thing to look out for here, guys, that I'm starting to notice is that we have actually we don't, never mind. I'll take that back. I thought we had a double body here, but this is not the high. The high is right here. We do have a double body rejection happening over here on the 5, on the 10 though. Back up a little bit. So we have a double body rejection right here on the 10. We don't have one here on the 5. So if this here closes, this could be initiation of a reversal to the downside. No confirmation yet, but this could be the initiation of it starting to come to the downside. Let's see some more profits here from C-Suit. C-Suit locked in a total profit of 1,300 for the day. Nice work, C-Suit, on this account. And then his second account locked in 15,660 for the day. Great work, C-Suit. We got Eunice over here. He took a pre-market profit, saw a variation on the 5 and 10. Took this here for snipe. Total profit of 504 for the day. Nice work, Eunice. Yes, Eunice took this buy right here. Saw this as an SR rejection scalp. You can see the zone right here. Price rejected directly off it. Buy signal. Strong green candle. Pushed right through. Blasted straight to his TP. So great work right there, Eunice. Patricia over here currently up 3,140 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Patricia. I like seeing this right here. I don't know if you guys like this, but I like seeing the green strips here. This like just shows you that you have the consistency of letting the trade run through to your TP. So great work right there, Patricia. I should have a green strip on mine, but I don't know. Slippage didn't let it hit. But yeah, typically I like when I have like all green strips like this right here, because it just confirms that you're holding onto your position to the full move, because it's actually hitting your TP. And I think that's the key thing to aim for, because you guys it'll help with your trade psychology so that you guys can actually trust the entry. So we got Vincent over here. He took this buy earlier. He took the sell earlier here, and then he took the buy. Total profit of 260. He had slippage work in his favor. So he said that slippage kind of just spiked through his TP, and then he ended up getting like double profit. So nice work right there, Vincent. Yeah, great work, guys. I mean, you guys are doing great for a Friday. You know, Friday is usually kind of risky, but you guys are doing pretty good. We have David over here, total profit of 84.70 for the day. Nice work, David. Yeah, some good morning profits on your end. All right, back to the charts, guys. This candle here has not closed yet. It has 2 minutes left on it, but if it has a double body right there, odds of it coming back down for a sell are very likely. We don't have any other confluences here, though. The only confluence is on the 10-minute. I mean, we technically still have this 30-minute here, but it's pretty much far from it. So yeah, this 30-minute and 1 hour, they're kind of useless now because we have a low. So we have to wait for price to establish another, high low at some point. But it's not necessarily useful at the moment. So the only confluence that I can see right here, guys, is the 10-minute. So the 10-minute has a double body here. It hasn't closed yet, but if it closes in the next minute and 25 seconds, this is the only confluence of price likely to come down, because we don't have anything here on the higher time frames, and we don't have anything here on the lower time frames. Only thing we can see here is the 10-minute. But if we get a confluence on multiple time frames, then odds of it dropping lower are very likely. But we'll just have to wait and see. You guys can see here our price is super messy. Let me just clean this up a little bit. This is kind of pointless to have this on here because it's not really signifying anything. Delete that, delete that, delete that. As you guys can see right here, price is just back at opening price. This blue line right here is the New York Stock Exchange open. So price really hasn't gone anywhere. As you guys can see, price is kind of just going back and forth from this blue line. Price pushes up, comes back down, pushes up, comes back down. And it's just going sideways right here. So realistically, if you were to measure where price has moved from open, it has not moved anywhere. Pushed down maybe 14 points, pushed up maybe 14 points as well. All right, price is coming back down right here. This candle has about like 10 seconds left on it. All right, so it looks like we do have a V1 variation here on the 10. So this is confirming a reversal pattern to the downside. This is just one confluence, so just keep that in mind, guys. It's not enough to really signify any room for entry yet. The good thing about this, though, is that we have sell signals on the 5 and 10, right? So we typically want price to come down because it's easier for price to come down and we start looking for sells versus us waiting for this buy signal to come up on the 10 and 5, because it's not looking like we're going to have that signal come up anytime soon. And we only have about 40 minutes until 8. Question from Martha. Martha's asking, what about the double body on the 5? Wouldn't that be considered a confluence? No, it wouldn't, because the double body has to be off the high, Martha. So the double body right here did not happen off the high, right? The high is over here on this candle prior to it. So it needs to be off the high. So see how this one right here is a high, it's a double body. This is how you identify what the top is, because price comes up to a high point, you get a reversal pattern off that high point and price comes down. Right here in the 5, we don't have a high point here. The high point's on this candle, but the double body happens after it. So the reversal has to happen directly off the high, because that's basically how this pattern plays out, right? Like if you see something where price comes up and comes right back down, that's because you have the high over here indicating that, okay, this is a reversal. What you have right here, I know it's kind of hard to see, and I'm getting confused by it too. Well, I did get confused by it initially because I thought this here was a double body, but it wasn't. But the pattern that's playing right there is something like this. So it pushes up like that, right? Because that's kind of what you're getting right here. It's not based off the high. So I wouldn't use that because it's not really a clean confirmation of it coming down. You just want it to push straight up and then come straight down. Yeah, we typically don't get stuff like this where it gets like really close. Like typically the next candle will push up a little higher and then it'll establish the double body. But for this one right here, it didn't have that. So it's all good. And it's good that you asked that question, Martha, because I know a lot of people are probably looking at the same thing. The only reason I know that is because I look at the same thing too. So I was initially confused when I first saw it. And I'm sure other people were confused too. So thanks for the question, because that helps us clear it out so that people understand, you know, why and why not this isn't going to be considered a confluence for us. All right, let me go over here to the higher time frames. I just want to make sure if there's anything else here. The confluence on the 1 hour is still fine. So I mean, we can still probably use this. It just happened like not too long ago. So we still have the double body right there. We have one possibly pending right here on the 2 hour too, but this isn't going to close for another hour and 37 minutes. So this isn't going to be useful to us during the live session, but if you guys want to continue trading after the live, this is something that you guys can look at on the 2 hour. If you guys get that pattern. So as you guys can see right here, this is like basic price action, right? I don't trade price action, but I use my indicators and my strategies to identify price action. So I don't necessarily trade strict price action like a lot of people where they just trade basically off candle patterns. But I use my indicators to identify those things because it makes things a lot easier. So like, for example, this right here would be considered a reversal pattern if you're just trading strict price action, right? But for me, I'm using my indicators here to really make it even more accurate. Because the problem with price action, identifying it and using it to your advantage is that it's very subjective. The thing with my indicators here is that they don't repaint. So once they're done and they've been established, you already know where these highs and lows happen. That's how I can back test these strategies very well. So like, for example, up here, right? Once we have this high right here, there's a double body. Look where price ended up coming down. So it came down super heavy, right? So you could have taken a trade right there if you were applying the V1 variation. So that's why I like using my indicators. I know a lot of people don't like using indicators, but for me personally, the indicators help me identify patterns a lot better compared to people who just trade naked charts. Because when you're trading naked charts, it's very subjective. Like you could see one thing, but then another person will see something completely opposite. But if you're applying my strategies, there's no way to do that because there's only one way. Like if the requirements are met, there's an entry. If there's no requirements, then there's no entry. And that's how you can really identify the profitability of the strategies that you're applying. You guys got to have some set rules that in place. Anyways, back to the time frames over here. Let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. So I mean, for the most part, it looks like price might be coming back down. I was hoping we get some sort of reversal pattern here on the shorter time frames. We just don't have anything just yet. The 1 hour here looks fine. The 30-minute, I guess we could still use this high here because it doesn't look like we're going to get another high anytime soon. So we'll see if price drops down lower. I think the main thing I'd be looking for would be a reversal pattern on these higher, or these lower time frames. Sorry. So we have one here on the 10, but I would want to see one here on the 5 and 1. If we could get some sort of reversal pattern on that end, then it'll be a lot better for us to identify entries. All right, so looking over here on these time frames, I just don't see anything going on over here. Everything's pretty much just going back and forth. So again, guys, in order for us to look for any entries here, the first criteria for all of these strategies is that we have to confirm the overall trend. We don't have an overall trend right here because the 1 minute keeps going in between the pivots. In order for us to confirm the overall trend, we need to make sure that price is above or below the pivots. We need to make sure that the trend meter aligns with that movement. And then we also need to make sure that the pivots are angling in that direction. So looking at this over here on the 1 minute, there's no direction. Price is literally going sideways and it's right in between the red flags. So this is another reminder why we don't trade in the red flags, because when price comes down to these areas, you can see what happens. Price fakes out and then it pretty much just goes sideways from there. Not really much movement there at all. Man, market's kind of dead for Friday. I was expecting it to move a bit more. I mean, it was moving on open, obviously, because of the news. There was a catalyst pushing price around. But the other thing, too, is that there's no other news today. Surprisingly, there's no other news for NFP. Usually there's at least something else going on. I guess it's because Yellen is speaking right now. So there's just like not much going on. Like price will push up a little bit. Then Yellen will probably say something and then price comes right back down. And then vice versa, price will go back up and then she'll say something else and price will go back in the other direction. So it's not necessarily a good time to trade because Yellen is speaking right now. And basically whatever she says is going to affect the market because she's testifying on Biden's budget for the fiscal year of 2024. So, you know, with this said, they're basically arguing about like what's going to happen with inflation, what's going to happen with taxing, what's going to happen with a lot of things that's directly affecting the market. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there's no specific news happening. It's just this discussion right here with Yellen that's really causing price to push like that. Looking over here at the other indices, so everything's pretty much bearish right now. The Dow is currently down 63 points, S&P is down 22 points, Nasdaq's down 100 points, Russell 2K is down 25 points, and the VIX is up 6%. So with that said, there's just not too much going on. I mean, everything here is bearish, so we're expecting price to come down, of course, but with Yellen speaking, you know, she might be pushing price back and forth. All right, so looking at this over here on the 5, I don't think this is going to be a very strong confluence, but there's a double body right there. If price drops lower, it can establish it to push it down farther. And at that point, it's just going to be, you know, going sideways again. Yeah, so as price drops right here, this low just might get pushed down even further. Let's see, we got a high over here. This can be a V3 pattern right here. If this is the case, then we'll have a confluence of two reversal patterns here. All right. So I think price will probably come down. Looking at this right here, we do have a reversal pattern here on the 1, and we have a reversal pattern over here on the 10. So probably expect price to come down a little bit. I don't know how far it'll come down, but there's no entries for us to take right now specifically. Yeah, we'll see where this ends up pushing from here. But this is a V3 variation right there, I believe. Yeah, V3 variation, V1 over here, two reversal patterns. If we had one here on the 5, it'd be even better. But yeah, if price continues to push down from where it's currently at, let me check the higher time frames real quick. I mean, yeah, everything here is still pointing towards a sell. So I do think price will come down. It's just, you know, it's just a matter of time until it actually does. Because we still have the V1 here on the 30. We have the V1 here on the 1. We have, I mean, there's not too much going on here. But the thing that you guys want to keep in mind is Yellen. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me see if I have CCs on here. So I have closed captioning on here. Yeah, whatever Yellen says could easily influence price. I guess we'll see where this ends up pushing to. You see the volatility right here on the 1 minute. Let's see where the range is at. So the range of price movement right here is very choppy, as you guys can see. I mean, it's chopping about like 300 pips back and forth, but I mean, I don't know where price is likely to go from this point. Yeah, see. So we don't have any like, we have the reversal patterns here, but there's no actual room for entry. So I don't know if like Yellen said something right now to spike price up, but you guys can see price is just going back and forth, and then all of a sudden it has a random spike to the upside. Let's see, Martha's asking a reversal pattern on the 1. Yeah, and then again right here, there's another, yeah, so there's a V1. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if it's on the same level. I mean, either way, it's going to be a V1 or V3. Yeah, it's a V1. So you can see how choppy the market is. There's a reversal pattern on both sides. So there was a V3 up here, and then price came back down, provided a V1 right there. So like what Martha just identified right here, V1. So realistically, there's just no direction. Price is just going back and forth, back and forth. Right here, there's another pattern setting up on the 5 too. Looks like. Yeah, C6 said it's the ads here on the sessions. No, thank you. Yeah, I know it's a super. I mean, there's a lot of indecisiveness. It's pretty much bouncing on the sessions back to opening price right there. And there is pretty much, I mean, there's reversal patterns on both sides. So that's what makes it super difficult to really identify, you know, where price is likely to go, because it's just going back and forth. There's no obvious direction here. It looks like pretty much every reversal pattern, if it comes up, it usually continues pushing that direction, at least for somewhat of an extended period. Yeah, this is a choppy market. It's not a good area to trade. There's no bias. So like literally, it seems like if you were scalping, like if you're scalping both directions, you can literally take every reversal pattern that comes up and it'll go at least like in your direction to some extent. It's not one that I would take, but just looking at it from where we're looking at from a bird's eye view, pretty much every reversal pattern here that plays out, it just goes out for at least 100 pips. So I mean, if you're looking to take like super risky trades, it looks like these here are playing out. Like for example, right here, right? There is or not right here, but the one that just came. This right here was a low with a red candle, followed by a green candle. This is a B3. This could have been taken for a quick 100 pips, right? And then again, right here, there's a high with a red candle. This could have also been taken for a quick 100 pips, right? So there's a lot of opportunities in the market, but they're not opportunities that I would personally take. They're too risky to take because typically you want to have some sort of bias in the market. If you're trading both ways, you don't really have a bias. You're kind of just nitpicking for like, you know, these specific entries that are coming up. But then again, it's going to be all good. It's going to be all fun and games until you lose a trade. And then you're going to be super upset because then you're going to start revenge trading from that point. So the 5 minute here is going to close with this buy signal, or not buy signal, with this reversal pattern here. And then, I mean, we'll see if this ends up continuing to push to the upside, but you know, obviously I'd be a little careful with looking for any entries here just yet. Even though I do think price will push up at least a little bit because it did provide the reversal pattern there, and then now it's pushing up from where it's currently at. And then we got a pending buy signal right here on the 5. Yeah, it's just not a good area to trade in. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it and I'll see where price ends up going. What's the spread looking like right now? Spread's 180, so spread's not horrible. Not great, but also not horrible. It's kind of curious what Yellen is saying in the market. Obviously, it seems like she has a pretty big influence with how price is moving, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm not listening to what she's saying right now, but it's going back and forth. It seems like they're going back and forth right here during her discussion. Maybe she might be saying something bad, price will come down. She'll say something good, price comes up. But I mean, realistically, there's no direction. So you can see it better here on the cleaner chart. This is a clean chart with like pretty much nothing on it aside from opening price. I'll delete news because it's not really necessary. But you can see that there's no direction here, right? This is kind of how it was pretty much all February. This big news candle right here was the news candle, but then now price is just going back and forth. It goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, etc. There's no clear direction as to where price is likely to go. And you can see right here that now price is coming back down to opening price. So, I mean, if you guys are looking for a catalyst, it looks like whenever price pushes away, like for example, price pushed up here, it pulls back down to opening price. Price pushes down here, it pulls right back to opening price. So if price pushes back up here, where do you think price is likely to go? Back to opening price, right? There's not much of a, and where does it go? It goes back exactly to where I said, right? So I mentioned price comes up here. Where's it going to go to? Back to opening price, and that's where it went. Right back to it. It's just in a big range. There's no direction for today. I was hoping there'd be some sort of direction, but there isn't. Let me just mark this up here. High point. Low point. So there's not really too much going on here. As you guys can see, price just going back and forth from where it's currently at. Price goes up, goes down, big fake out right here. And then it pulls right back up. So as you can see, price is coming back down right here. Where do you think price will come back down to? If price comes back lower, I come down and then come right back up. It's 7:37 right now, guys. So it's getting close to 8 o'clock, close to our cutoff time for trading. I mean, there just isn't much for us to look at here. I guess you can probably possibly look for and wait for a reversal here to play out again. But there's no overall trend. So looking over here on the 5, 10, and 1, I know price is above the pivots, but it's not necessarily holding. The 10-minute over here is barely above it. The 5-minute here is barely above it. Same with the 1. Yeah, it's not too much here to look at. Did John mention that they're talking about the IRS and how they've been buying firearms? Gotcha. Thanks to John for the heads up. Let's see. C6 City, I'm calling it NFP Friday and pretty much well over my daily for the day, like today. Trade safe if you keep trading. Be careful and hope you guys grab the rest of what's on the table for the market. Have an incredible weekend. Yeah, thanks, C-Soup. So C6 logging off for the day. We'll see you back here on Monday, C-Soup. I mean, if you guys don't have to trade, I mean, it's getting close to 8. It's not really looking like anything's going to provide any opportunities for us. I mean, price just keeps going back and forth, and it's not necessarily moving as smooth as, we'd like. Let's see. Yeah, Dejan said, I'm going to call it a week. I'm expecting to have a great week next week since I'll be trading on my laptop, spring break and trading. Yeah, no, definitely. Dejan. Yeah, I mean, weeks like this are like hit or miss. Like, for example, earlier on this week on Monday, I thought this week was going to be like an amazing week because we had such a good week, a good trading day on Monday. How much profit did we make on Monday? I think we took 2 trades on Monday. We made a lot of profit. And I was like, okay, NFP is probably going to be a good week. And then it came Tuesday, market just started going sideways. There's no direction. So on Monday over here, we had a pretty good trading day, right? We had a lot of profit. We had 2 official trades. And I took like 4 trades, total profit of like 4,600, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. And then we came to Tuesday, and Tuesday I took 1 trade, which was fine. And then we came to Wednesday, and it was just like smaller trades. Like it's just like a choppy. I mean, depending on how you're trading, if you're trading the efficient strategies, I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't like an amazing week for the most part. Certain though, so Cern said can't lie, had a good week. If you guys saw Cern's profits this week, he actually had a great week. The thing with Cern, he was trading after the live session, and he just kept catching all the big moves. It seems like a lot of the trending movements happen after 8 o'clock. You know, if that continues to be the case, then we might just continue trading later after 8. But for now, I'm just going to keep it as is because I think we're doing fine as is. As long as you guys don't over trade and revenge trade, I think you guys should be fine because we didn't have any losses this week. We had all wins. I know it's kind of frustrating because some of you guys want to take like, 5 or 6 trades a day. And there's only like 1 or 2 official trades that come up. But, it just really depends on like your trading style. If you guys are fine to trade after 8, but you guys got to make sure that you have to stay disciplined, because if you guys don't stay disciplined, it's really easy for you guys to go into a bad habit of revenge trading and over trading. Let's see. Ernest said the reason I can't get in on these trades is because I get off work at 10:30 Central Time. Yeah, Ernest. So if that's the case, then you can still trade after 8. I mean, I even trade after 8 sometimes. The times that I typically trade will be between 6:30 and 8, and then I usually take a 1 hour break because that's usually where the market goes sideways between 8 and 9, and then from 9 until market close for New York session is typically where you can keep trading if you wanted to keep trading after the live session. So your Central Time 10:30, I think that'd be 9:30 our time. So you're actually getting off at a good time. When you get off work, you can still trade between that time until market close. That's typically where like Cern took all of his trades. So like I'll show you a couple entries that came up at that time specifically. The only problem is that you have to apply the strategies on your own because we're not on live during that time. But let me show you the entries that came up yesterday at that time. So, okay, so you got off work at like 9:30 my time. And you could trade basically from here until market close. So if you, and I'll just show you the entries over here. So the time that you got off work would be right here at 9:30. You actually got off at a perfect time yesterday. So like this is where Cern made a lot of his profits. So this is 9:30 when you get off work, right? Say it takes you like 30 minutes or so to get home. You see all these entries right here. There is one entry right here for a momentum scalp. Or this right here is a momentum scalp failure. This green candle right there, full TP. You have taken that for 100 pips, full TP. You got a momentum scalp right after it. Another full TP. I actually didn't take these trades. I should have been on the charts yesterday. I was actually not doing anything yesterday. I just didn't bother to go on the charts. But if I did, I would have caught a lot of these moves here. So there's 3 entries that came up right there: momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp, and then another one right here. And the things with these trades is that they come in bunches. So like when you have one trade that comes up, they usually come up one after the other. So again, right here, another full TP off a momentum scalp failure, off that green buy signal, another momentum scalp variation right after it. So right there, if you got off work at 9:30, Ernest, you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back-to-back wins. And then right here, momentum scalp, sell signal. So as you guys can see, for some people who trade after 8 o'clock, I mean, I typically don't trade after 8 o'clock, but the market seems to move a lot more directional after 8 o'clock. So I wouldn't do it today because today's Friday. Today's not really the day to take these types of trades. But yesterday, the market was super directional after 8 o'clock. You can see there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries there. Another 3 entries right here. So another 12 entries, another 3 entries right here, another 3 entries right here, maybe like 1 or 2 losses right here if you guys took any of the trades. So it looks like 1 loss right here. Next one would have been a win. So it looks like there was like maybe 12 or 15 trades here that all would have hit full TP and then maybe 1 or 2 losses. So, I mean, you guys are welcome to practice after the live session. If you guys want to practice after 8, I probably would recommend opening like a demo account and just trading after the live session because the market just lately for the past month, like basically the entire month of February and right now the first week of March, the market hasn't really been going directional on open, which is unusual because typically the market does move directional and open. Yeah, certain say just be careful and watch behavior of market. Yeah, exactly. Like you have to kind of know what you're doing though. You can't just be hopping into trades. That's why a lot of people prefer to trade only during the live, because I give full explanations how things are applied and I do it real time. So yeah, it's up to preference. This isn't a hint to trade after 8. I'm just telling you guys, if you guys want to trade after 8, you guys can. It's just up to your greed, right? For me personally, I'm only trading till 8, so I'm okay with my profits. You know, I make a pretty decent amount of profits trading just in the morning, and I'm fine with that. If I traded more, I could probably make more profit, but that's where greed comes into play, and you start to take, you know, dumb trades. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, if you guys are trading, just trade smart. Don't be taking every single trade. Take only the ones that meet your criteria. Whether it's, you know, applying one of my strategies or applying one of the other ones. All right, the 1 minute over here still hasn't provided anything, but looks like price is now coming right back down. So with price coming down like this, looks like we could be looking for possible entries here. All right, let's see. Question from Daniel. Daniel was asking, hi, Sean, was there a double body on the 4-hour chart? Let me go and check that real quick. Let's see. Oops. I don't know what I just did. Where is that? There's one that's pending right now, Daniel. So there's a double body that's currently pending right now, but this candle has about 3 hours left on it. So it has a long time until it closes. There was a double body earlier, though. This was from yesterday morning at 3 a.m. So Thursday, 3 a.m., there was a double body here for a sell, and you can see price continue dropping lower. There's one here that's also still pending, double body right here as well on the 4-hour. So still has about 3 hours left on it, though. So it has a long time until it actually closes to confirm that double body. Let's see, question from Jacob. Jacob's asking, quick question, Sean. In terms of profit, you're doing the same risk around all of your accounts, but your FTMO is larger. Why are you not increasing risk on FTMO? Because I just merged that account. I don't know, when did I merge it? When did I get the 400K account? Yeah, because you haven't been here, so you haven't understood like my logic behind that. So I got that account on, I don't know, when did I get it? Max allocation. I got that account on February 12th. So I've only had the 400K account for about a month now. The reason why I'm not increasing my lot size on there is because I'm not comfortable with the risk yet, right? You can tell there's a huge difference when you're trading between a 200K account and a 400K account. If you're going between having a $3,000 drawdown to a $6,000 drawdown, that's going to mess with your trade psychology, right? You don't just go from like trading a $200,000 account to a $400,000 account, and then you see different numbers. It's going to mess with your thought process when you're taking trades. So for me personally, I'm still trading the same lot size across all my accounts because I'm not comfortable with the bigger drawdown yet. Because the thing is, when you're trading two different, like it's easier when you're trading all the same accounts, right? Because you'll see the same profits and you'll know that you're doing things properly. But yeah, I'll see bigger profits, but then I'll also see bigger losses if I ever like run into a loss, which rarely happens, but it's more of a trade psychology thing. So like for me personally, I'm not used to seeing a 6K drawdown versus a 3K drawdown. So if I see that, it's going to throw me off. And then I'm going to be trading a little more carefully than I already am. So for me personally, I'm still sticking to the same lot size, and then I'm going to increase it as time goes. But right now, I'm not in the proper mindset to increase my lot size yet. So I am kind of giving away profits. I'm even like thinking about splitting my accounts back up to 200K, because I think the 400K it's just big. Like it's a lot bigger, and it provides me more cushion for my trades. But if and when I do have a loss, like we had a loss last week, I think, and that like kind of threw me off a bit, because I was off by like, I had like a $3,000 loss on my MFF accounts, and I had a bigger loss on my FTMO, and it kind of like made me more careful. So once I'm ready, I'll increase the lot size. But so also the thing too, when you're funded, you don't have to like go for the 10% risk every time, right? I mean, the 10% drawdown. I think that's the big misconception with a lot of people too. Like when they're trying to get funded, you guys have to go for 10% every month, right? So when you're doing 10% every month, you get that pressure because you have to like keep taking trades and you have to keep making an X amount of profit. But now that I'm at a 400K count, I'm just collecting money at this point, right? It's just profits that are coming in. So now I have a bigger drawdown and I'm not really pressured to make 10% every month, right? I can make 5% a month and I'll still make a pretty good amount of profit. Like for example, I'm on a 400K count. So if I'm doing 5% a month, oh, sorry, not times 5. So I'm on a 400K account. I'm still making 20,000 on that account, right? That's a pretty good amount of money. Of course, I could be making double that. I could be making, if I go for 10%, I can make 40K. But then again, it's like, that's where greed comes into play. And if you let greed come into play, that's where you start to blow accounts. So for me personally, I just want to maintain this account, get my payouts, get my refund, and then just build onto that once I have, more confidence. Because I'm only risking like 0.5% now per trade on the FTMO, which is the 400K. Let's see. So there's still no entries here, guys. I know we kind of went off topic for a little bit, but there's just nothing for us to take here. Looking over here, we're still looking for sells. So looking at the 5, 10, and 1, we're currently looking for sells, but there's no confirmation of reversal yet. Price is kind of just going sideways over here. We don't have any reversal patterns on the 1 or 5. We still have one here on the 10, but it's just on the 10. We don't have anything here on the 5 or anything here on the 1. So just gonna sit tight for a bit. If there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll answer them before we end the weekend out. But for the most part, it does not look like we're gonna have any more entries for today. Let's see, Jacob said, makes sense, but why are you not going with a B type of prop firms for aggressive trading and just treat them with less caution? There's plenty of prop firms that you could open for fun and just do higher risk, but I guess that's where greed comes into play. So like, I mean, it sounds like a good idea, Jacob, but are you funded on a 400K and have you actually tried it, right? It's different for like someone to tell me to do something, but like when you're like funded and you're actually doing something, like it's different when it's your account because like, of course I can do that. But a thing with a lot of these other companies, like you're talking about these B prop firms, right? I was on TFF for like a while, right? I got funded and then like they're like, I don't know if you were around during that time, Jacob, but like TFF, like we consider that a pretty okay prop firm, but then all of a sudden they stopped allowing for people to scalp. So I pretty much just wasted my time to do that challenge, get funded, and then now their spreads were super wide and their execution times were off. So like, if you remembered my profits from like back then, or I don't know if you're even around during that time. I don't remember the last time I had TFF, but let me see if I can search here. So look at this right here. So TFF was considered one of the good prop firms back then, right? Jacob, I was making 1,000 on this account, close to 1,000 on this account, close to 1,000 on this account. My TFF always gave me negative. So, and this is the second episode. I don't even think you were around during this time, Jacob, because you weren't even online. I went to TFF again a second time. So the first time I got funded with them, they put me on a different server and it was completely off. This time it was okay for like a month and then they had the same issue. So it's easy to like say that like you can do all these different prop firms, but a lot of these prop firms don't work with scalping because they don't have good execution times. They also don't allow for like copiers. So like it just wouldn't make sense. Like a lot of these other trading firms that I was using before, or that I was trying to use, I try to add them to my copier and then they wouldn't copy my trades. So yeah, no, it's easy from an outside perspective, but if you do it, so I'll do this, Jacob. You do it the prop firm, and if the prop firm pays you out from scalping, then let me know, and then I'll do it because I don't want to keep wasting money buying into prop firms, and they don't even allow for scalping, or their execution time suck, or their spread sucks. Because trust me, I've tried other prop firms. I've been trading for like 10 years now, so it's like I'm familiar with the space. So I know the ins and outs of this, and I know which prop firms are good and which are not. The only ones that I know that are good for scalping and for our style of trading would be FTMO and MFF. I've tried other prop firms, they don't work as well. I know there's a lot of new prop firms that, yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine with MFF as well, bro. I'm talking about other prop firms because you're talking about different prop firms, right? So MFF is, you don't have to look at them. You need to look at other prop firms and let me know what works for them. Because I'm already funded with FTMO and MFF. Those two are fine. I've been using them for like, years now. The other ones that are new that are coming out, they're like hit or miss. And I know owners of like different prop firms too. So it's not like I'm familiar with the space. I know which prop firms are good, which prop firms are not. The only ones that I'll recommend would be FTMO and MFF. So yeah, I mean, if you find any ones that are good, I mean, let me know because I can just add them to my copier and I can just trade them. But most of these other prop firms, they have bad execution times, spreads are wide, or they don't allow for copiers. Or if they do allow for copiers, they require that their account is like the main one, which it pretty much defeats the purpose of copier. Let's see, Brock said he's done for the day. Yeah, no, definitely Brock. We'll see you back here on Monday. Let's see, Jalan's asking, so basically if you change stuff in your trading routine, you can throw yourself off. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like my routine is the same. If you guys see my routine every day, I trade between 6:30 and 8. I do like literally the same thing every day and I lock in the same profits every day. It's just consistency with like my trades, right? So I don't lock in like a crazy amount of profits. You'll see sometimes people in the group who are locking in like CSUK for example, right? CSUK's locking like 15,000 on this account. And you'll see some people lock in like 20,000 or etc. For me, I'm content with making like a couple $1,000 a day, but I'm doing a rinse and repeat process. It's just the same routine every day, taking 1 or 2 trades, lock it in, and I'm done for the day. So that's why you don't see me blowing accounts like ever really, because I'm just doing the same routine. So like what Jalan was asking was like, basically if you change up your routine, it's going to throw yourself off. Yeah, I mean, it's the same with like anything that you do, right? Jalan, like say, for example, you go to one gym every single day of your life, and then you go to another gym and it throws you off because you don't know where everything is, right? It's like with everything in life. Trading kind of like relates to a lot of things in life. It's like if you're driving to work, right? If you take the same path to work every single day, you don't even have to think and you get to that point without even knowing it. If you start driving a different way, you're going to be confused because you don't know where anything is. It's the same with trading. For me, it's the same routine. I trade from 6:30 to 8, apply the same 3 strategies every day. So every day I'm only applying these 3 strategies right here, right? I apply these 3 strategies. It doesn't throw me off because I already know what to look for. I'm looking for these 3 here, and I'm looking for other confluences to indicate that price is going to go in that direction. So for me, it's the same process every single day. Same with my lot sizing. If you guys look at all my trades here, I have a 400K account for FTMO, but I'm still using 100 lot. Just like what Jacob was referencing to. 100 lot on my 400K FTMO, 100 lot on my MFF 200K, and then same with these 2 other MFFs here as well. I could merge these into a 600K account, but I think that would even throw me off even more because we're going from like 200K to 400K and then now 600K. So, it's all going to come with time. Eventually I'll increase my lot sizing, but I think for now I'm pretty content with making X amount of profit on these accounts with a smaller lot size. And then at that point, it makes it virtually impossible for me to blow my account. So I'll probably never lose my 400K account because my risk is so low. It's like less than 1% per trade. Let's see. Malik is asking, have the high-low momentum scalps been good entries lately? Well, I mean, CSUK's been taking them, so I'm pretty sure they have. I haven't been taking them myself, Malik, so I can't say from experience, but most of these trades here that CSUK has been taking are high-low scalps. So I would say, yes, they do work, but CSUK uses them with a confluence. So like the way that CSUK applies them, and I don't know if CSUK's still here. Let me see. CSUK's done, so he's off for the day. But yeah, Malik, what CSUK does is he typically looks for those high-low scalps, but he looks for a confluence. So he looks for a V1 variation before taking the trade. So let me see if I could find one here. And then I'll show you the way that he applies it. Let me see if there's any that came up today. Yeah, so the way that Sisu does it is he pretty much applies the same way that we do it, but he looks for a confluence when he's applying it. Let me see if I could find his. So a lot of these trades were taken last night. They weren't taken from this morning. I'll just see if I could find one here, and I'll just show you an example of what he does. Because he pretty much does the same thing we're doing, but he's applying it with an extra confluence. I think he was trading like last night. This is like London session. So he was trading. All right, so here's one right here. So the high-low scalp is right here. Right, we have the high right there, price broken, close past it. What Sisu does is he looks for a confluence. So this isn't part of the strategy, but he uses this to make sure that the trade actually hits. So he sees this double body right here off the low. That's a V1 variation, right? So he sees a V1 variation here. He sees a high-low scalp right here happen. And that's where he takes his trade. So I think if you apply it this way, it works very well. This is the same way that I'm applying the momentum scalp entries, like pretty much just trades on the live sessions. I'm looking for this confluence here. So that's typically what he would do. He'd look for a V1 variation, and then he'd look for the high-low scalp. So, I mean, the high-low scalp works fine, but you have to make sure that you're applying it properly. I mean, there's two of them that came up right here, actually. So there's one right there, and there was another high-low scalp that came up right here as well. So there's two of them. One right there, full TP, and then another one that happened right after it, right there too. And you can use the same confluence because if you look back at the previous high-low, this is still the most recent high-low. The V1 variation there, reversal pattern, high-low scalp, full TP, high-low scalp, full TP. So I mean, personally, I think it works well. It's one of the staples that we use here because it's just a continuation strategy. It lines up with the strategies that we're already applying. But I just personally haven't been applying it myself. So I can't really say exactly how well they've been working. But that is one of the ways that he applies it. He uses that, and he also uses pivot rejections as well. There's just different confluences that are used to confirm that. Let's see, Guido mentioned, I'm doing the top tier challenge. It's pretty good so far. Top tier lets you use a copier and can trade news with top tier. Cool. Yeah, no, I've heard about I know about top tier. They've been around for a while. You know, obviously it's QBanks' company. When I initially started to use when I wanted to use top tier before, Guido, they didn't allow for copiers. So that's why I never used them in the past. So first they went with no copiers, and then they allowed copiers, but they wanted copiers to be on the main account. So the trades could copy from the top tier account, but not the others. And I didn't like that because I wanted to use FTMO as my main one because they have the best conditions. So yeah, I think now that they allow for them, I'll probably try them out, but I just, I haven't gotten around to really trying them out. It's really just, I guess it's me being lazy for the most part because I don't want to be adding too many copiers. Because if you guys have noticed, the copier had some issues this past couple of weeks. I think it was last week. If you guys noticed, the copier was like shut off, and like some people were entering trades and they couldn't get out of them. So just, something to keep in mind. You shouldn't depend 100% on the copier, but that's like the big downside. So like if your copier screws up, then you can possibly lose all of your accounts if it ends up, like worse comes to worse and all your accounts, you end up in a trade and then the copier turns off and then you end up being stuck in that trade and can't pull out of it unless you like manually exit from your account. So just keep that in mind. There's risks that come with the copier. That's why I also don't want to add too many accounts to it, but yeah, we'll see. I think top tier is probably gonna be the next company that I'll be trying out. Or I might just get another account from I'm gonna be meeting with the owner of First Class Forex tomorrow. So we'll see. I'll see what they have. They're going into they're using a new server. So if you guys remember Kyle from our group, Kyle used to trade with us before. He's he owns First Class Forex funds. I mean, I can't recommend them because I haven't used them yet, but I'm gonna be meeting with him tomorrow. He's gonna be visiting. So I'll meet with him tomorrow. I'll see what's good with their new server. If their servers are better, then maybe I'll give them a try. Yeah, I'll be meeting with the owners of that prop firm tomorrow. Let's see. Bianca said the only thing I don't like about top tier is the fees. Yeah, so that's another thing. So like there's always like pros and cons to different prop firms. Bianca mentioned the fees. I don't know what the fees are like because I've never used them before. But I'll check. Yeah, Jacob said first class Forex funds, my buddy gets payouts every month. Yeah, well, I know the actual owner. So like I know the issues that are going on within the company. So I know they get payouts, but there's been other issues with like execution times. They have like I know the ins and outs of like that specific company, but you guys have seen they've been getting a lot of bad reviews. I think those bad reviews are coming from people who are trying to cheat the system. So I don't necessarily go along with those reviews, but I'm going to be meeting with the owner tomorrow. We're going to be talking about business stuff. I'll see if we can maybe, if their servers are better, maybe I'll trade with them. But I know before they had like a max lot size limit where you couldn't use a certain amount of lots. Like I think you can't use 100 lot on first class. They had like a cap on it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to trade with them as well. And yeah, you guys got to keep in mind that with like first class Forex, they're like a company of like one person, right? Handling with like 20,000 prop firm people in their group. So yeah, they're a new company, so they're still trying to get up and running. But they are, I mean, they're making things like they're trying to make it work. So I'll talk with them tomorrow and I'll see like if there's anything that we can do with them. Because what he wants me to do is he basically wants me to like funnel traders to him, like basically traders who can make profit. And yeah, I mean, we'll see where that goes, because they were using 8cap before as their liquidity provider, but they're not using them anymore. So I'm curious to see which company they're using now. Because I know 8cap, they have issues. If you guys have traded with other companies, there's like I can't remember what, damn, Yellen's still talking. I thought she was done by now. But there was a couple other companies that use 8cap as well, and they were kind of iffy with regard to their execution times and spreads. So, all right, guys, it's way past 8. So I think this is it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. You guys can also send me messages through Telegram. That's probably the fastest way to get in touch with me. And if you guys want to learn the strategies that we're applying here, just go on the website, KodiKaiTrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. And then it'll give you access to pretty much all of the strategies that I discussed on the live session, all the strategies that I personally apply. If you want the indicators, obviously you're going to have to upgrade, but you'll have access to the videos here to understand which strategies we're applying. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and I'll